This is the RedBeard Podcast.
Hold on to your butt.
Do we really suck? Or is this guy really that good?
I have one speed, I have one gear. Go!
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 42 of RedBeard Podcast. This is
42.
Tony. It's 42, man, that's right.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's
No,
43.
it's 43.
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah,
Thank
you're right.
you.
It's
42. I had a big
43.
exclamation
You
point
did
next
have
to
a
42.
You
next
did
to
have a
last time.
42. Yeah.
All right.
I'm just excited, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to actually get this going, and yeah, it is episode 43, man. We do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Can't keep track of all of it.
Yeah.
So, episode 43. We actually have a very special guest with us today. This guy has done so much stuff. You guys have heard me kind of talk about him last week. We told you he was going to be on the show. He is a director, producer, writer, DJ. The guy kind of does it all. So let's welcome Todd Braley. Say what's up, buddy.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Nice to appreciate you having me
Of
on
course,
your show.
man. You have a ton of stuff under your belt, and I'm excited to talk to you about it all. So.
Well, ask away, man. I'll tell you whatever you want.
Before we get started, I just want to establish a couple of ground rules. Do you have a safe word?
Yeah, it's bingo.
The safe word is whiskey. Yeah, if it gets too much, man, just tap out.
Just say whiskey and we'll stop. Okay?
We're done.
So one thing, man, I want to touch upon now. You're out in Colorado, huh?
Yeah, I am.
You sound really thrilled about it.
Well, it's funny because as much as I love Colorado, when I moved out here, I didn't move out here. I had bailed on the movie business. I was done with it. I worked in Hollywood for about 5 years, and it was very. I was done with it, and I moved out here not wanting to make movies, just move someplace else, start over. I got a job at a TV station. I was making TV commercials. And then what wound up happening was a friend of mine talked me into making another movie, and hence, it's like a heroin addict that's been clean for 5 years, and then somebody hands him a needle, and that's just the movie. And when you have a passion to do something like that, it's really hard to just bail on it.
Yeah.
And I had bailed on it, but then somebody goes, "Hey, here's your movie needle." Okay, fine.
It's like reignited the fire.
So. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, but the problem with living where I live, I guess, is the fact that finding people that really want to do this is a hard thing to do. I've slowly, it's taken like 7 years to build up just a small core group of people that actually want to make movies, and living here has I'm not going to rag it, but it hasn't been easy, when there's stuff happening where you guys live. There's so much happening down in Louisiana and Georgia and stuff, and I've got friends that live down there. Not so much. There's not a lot going on in LA anymore, but it's because of Facebook and all that. Trying to. You wish you could just take all those people and either bring them here, or we all just figure out a state. We all move to that state, and then we just make movies.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because I have a lot of friends that I went to college with, and they, and I went to school for acting, obviously, and there's people that have moved out to LA and they have the hardest time finding work. It's not it's not what they thought it would be.
No, it's not. I mean, I lived out there for a long time. I lived in California for 30 years.
Okay.
Before I moved, and I worked in Hollywood for about 5 years. And it's, everybody thinks that when you go to Hollywood, you're going to make it. And it's totally not true. So anybody out there listening that thinks that they can just pack up and go to LA and become famous is sorely mistaken, because
yeah, it's true, man. It's true.
There's 10,000 other people that are thinking the same thing, but the work is not there anymore.
Yeah, I feel like you'll go to Hollywood, and Hollywood will destroy you before it, makes you into somebody famous.
It will, and it did. I mean, I'm a perfect example of that. I worked in post-production. I wasn't even an actor. And it all came down to, what it came down to was I was doing my job. And because I was not a kiss ass, because I was not willing to stab people in the back, and I just didn't have that mentality that so many people had and had in our building, that when it came down to it, somebody said something about my work ethic to my boss and said, "You better watch out, man. Todd's going to be the golden boy here pretty soon." That was it. Then he had it out for me from that point on, and he just waited until he could find something to fire me for, and he did. Then picked up the phone and called all the other post houses and said, "Don't hire Todd Braley because."
So he blacklisted you?
Oh, dude. And when they say you'll never work in this town again, they mean it. And it happened because I couldn't get a job as a production assistant.
Oh man! I mean, I think there's two sides to that story, though. It kind of puts you in a tough spot, but also, I kind of have a lot of respect for somebody that just says it how it is and doesn't waste their time being a kiss ass. It might come back to bite you in the butt, but at least they're real, So I don't know. It's kind of it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. So, but you seem to be doing a lot of stuff now. It seems like it's really starting to pick up. You've had some great successes. I want to, have you talk about one of your recent projects that got you a lot of exposure, which was Surviving the Undead. Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, Surviving the Undead was kind of a weird thing. My oldest child, Jillian, she had come up with this idea for these with my stepdaughter Taylor, and they had come up with this idea about these two sisters that didn't get along, and the zombie apocalypse happens, and they have to learn to get along. Now, they actually made 4 episodes of that, and just shooting it with their cell phones. Okay. And it was, the production quality, it wasn't great, but the thing about it was they made 4 episodes, and there was only those 2. They used my youngest daughter, Brienne, in there for one thing, but the rest of it, it was funny because there were no zombies that you ever saw. You heard them. They used shadows to create zombies outside the window, which was them. When they'd set the phone up and aim it at the window, and then they'd go outside and pretend to be the zombies at the window and then do voiceover stuff. And it was really cool. And I was like, wow, man. I said, can you imagine if that was something bigger? And so I started talking to them about it, and I said, hey, what if I, expanded on this and we added characters and gave them the parents and friends and all this stuff. And they weren't really receptive to it at first, but once they saw where I was going with it and the possibilities of it, I got them to agree, and we shot the first episode. And the people and I know, Tony, you've watched it, but the people that you saw in the entire season that we have now was not the original cast. We actually had shot it with another cast. And we had some problems with egos and issues and stuff like that, and so I just shut the whole thing down and then came back to it later and recast the whole thing. And it was kind of funny because my youngest daughter Brienne had played the youngest sister Natty in the first time we shot it, and then when we got ready to shoot it again, she's playing the middle sister. So that was kind of cool to have her back in there. But the whole idea of Surviving the Undead was to do kind of what, and this was even before American Horror Story was even really on the scene, that anybody was paying attention to it. So, and what my idea was for other seasons of Surviving the Undead was to basically have reinvent start over with the apocalypse on every season. So the first season was the family and how they had to, the family, how they had to get along to move on, to get along and get through the zombie apocalypse. The second one was a group of people that got stuck in a bank during a bank robbery. Third season was a group of firemen. Fourth season was about a bunch of people stuck in a strip club. Mm-hmm. So, and basically it was all about the dynamic of the characters and how everybody handles the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Now, did you? I know Surviving the Undead was one of those projects that did really well. I mean, you went to, you were invited out with a couple of the cast to like different Comic-Cons, and they gave you an award and stuff. So I mean, that must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. That was totally unexpected. I mean, that just kind of happened. We didn't submit anything. It was for the Magic City Comic-Con down in Miami, and that was completely unexpected. I had posted the series after it had finished running on television. I had posted the series on online and put it on a Facebook page called Web Series Today, and they the guys on Web Series Today are great. They'll always let you post basically almost anything that you do. And a gentleman named Kurt Doneth, who's one of the guys that runs the Magic City Comic-Con, saw it. And I guess he watched the whole thing and got back to me and said, "Hey man, do you want to show your? Would you let us show your show at our Comic-Con?" And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was and then I looked up, the Magic City Comic-Con, and that wasn't some like little dinky thing, man. I mean, that is like, I guess, the second largest Comic-Con in the United States.
Wow, that's crazy.
Being there for 3 days, that was probably some of the craziest shit I have ever seen in my life. I had never been to one. And I was just like blown away at the craziness at a Comic-Con. I mean, it was nuts. It was totally
awesome,
crazy.
I think that, Surviving the Undead and being invited down to a Comic-Con, I mean, just when you don't even, expect to be invited, because I noticed that people are seeing this stuff that you posted, must have been like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And, and winning an award, I'm not one of those guys that's big on awards just because I feel like, film, working for it. I can't think of the word. Like Sundance and those kind of things. They've taken what used to be a very tight-knit community within independent filmmakers, and basically now, it's everybody puts the gloves on, and it's all about the fight to win. It's not about the fight to make a good movie for people to see. It's like, we got to get the distribution deal. We got to fight against the other guy, we've got to. I feel like it ripped. The film festivals ripped the independent film community apart, and so I'm not big on awards. I appreciate the fact that we did get Best Web Series at the Magic City Comic-Con, but most of the guys that had stuff in their film deal down there in Magic City, none of them were aware that they even were giving away awards. And this may sound like completely asshole-ish, but if I would have known that they were giving away awards for that, I probably wouldn't have went. That's, I'm kind of old school. I mean, that's kind of, again, it may sound like an asshole, but I'm not. That's not like my priority anymore, is to win awards. I mean, when I was 20 years old, man, I was going to have an Oscar by the time I was 30, baby.
Yeah, seriously, man.
And now I'm I could give a shit about it. To me, they don't mean anything anymore. It's to me, it's just about making movies and making stuff that people want to watch.
All right. So I don't know if you've listened to like all of our episodes because that's a huge undertaking. Episode 4 of our podcast actually featured a buddy of yours, Jim Beller.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because I know you did a documentary called Jaws Fanatics, and I want to have you talk a little bit about that.
Jaws Fanatics actually came out of the editing of The Shark Is Still Working. I guess there was a 3.5 hour cut of that film originally, and one of the sections in the movie was about the Jaws fans. I never saw it. It was something that Jim had brought up, and he said, yeah, they cut it out. They cut this whole section out of this movie, and basically now when you watch The Shark Is Still Working on the Jaws Blu-ray, it's I don't know. To me, it's just a rehash of all the shit that we already know about Jaws. There was nothing really new in that documentary, right. Whereas from what I've been told, all of the good stuff got cut out of it. So that's when I thought, I had gotten on Facebook and I was in a couple of Jaws Facebook groups, and I said, hey man, we should, since they cut everybody out of that documentary, we should just make our own. And so I, got a hold of, obviously, Tony, you got a hold of me and said, hey man, I want to be a part of it. We got about 30 people, 30 Jaws fans from around the world. And I thought, instead of trying to get money, follow everybody around, take the camera, fly to the UK, fly back east, all that stuff, I thought, you know what would be cool and make this totally different is let's go ahead and get the people, let's get them to record their own stuff, do it on webcams, and do it on their phones, whatever, and then just send their clips. And that, to me, when I look at that movie, when I watch it, whether it be the 2-hour version or the 3.5 hour version, to me, it's extremely cool to listen to all of these Jaws fans talk about their own personal experiences and when they first saw the movie. And Tony, when you were talking about, you go to your grandpa's house and the first thing you would do is run in there and grab the picture with the magnifying glass and look at the shark. And I mean, that kind of stuff is just awesome to me to be able to hear. And once we got it done, and it's available right now on stackstv.xyz. You can either watch the 2-hour version or the 3.5 hour version on there. It's awesome, I mean, I had so much fun putting it together, knowing that, number one, that we didn't spend a dime,
that's awesome.
It was all a matter of our own time, and that's what was cool about it. So,
I think the cool thing about Jaws Fanatics is that, there's so many people out there that think it's funny when somebody is like, oh, I'm a huge Jaws fan, and they're like, oh, it's just a shark movie. But this was kind of like our way of telling you why it's had such an effect on us and why we are fanatics about the movie. And it's not that we're all crazy, it's just the way that it impacted us.
Well, we are crazy.
Yeah, we are. We are. Yeah, seriously. Let's just be honest. We are, but still, it's a good crazy.
Especially when my wife had asked me, she had watched Jaws for the first time with me. It was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And after it was done, because I'm just one of those guys that have seen it so many times that I know the words, every word. I mean, I'm not just talking about the stuff that the main characters say, but I'm talking about the guys in the background. I'm talking about the noises. I'm talking about, it's like when they put out the 25th anniversary edition and they went back and fucked with the sound. Yeah. And it was obvious because it was like, whoa, wait a minute, where's the horn that honks in the background? Wait a minute, what happened to this? How come the gun doesn't sound the same? And we got this. You know, and so when it was done, she says to me, she goes, how many times do you think you've seen this movie? And she and I sat down and we started back from the first time that I saw it and moved all the way through my entire existence and figured out, because I also had it recorded, I don't know about you, Tony, but I had it on a cassette tape.
Yeah, you just play it over.
I just played it. I would play it over and over. I mean, literally listen to that thing 3 or 4 times a day, the whole thing, 3 or 4 times a day. And we figured I'd probably seen and listened to the thing about a little over 5,000 times in my lifetime.
That's insane.
You know, I think it's funny. And I think it's funny when people say, yeah, I've seen Jaws about 150 times.
Yeah, cool, bro. Cool story, bro.
I got that beat.
Yeah, let me know when you reach 1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it ever get to a point where, like, sometimes you just, like, put it on just to have it on in the background while you're doing other shit?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I actually do almost every time I'm editing. When I'm editing, I'll put that on, and I'll just let it run. I'll just get all 4 Jaws movies and just set them down. And I've got a TV in my editing room, and if I'm editing, I'll put in Jaws 1 and just let it run low in the background. If it's too noisy, I'll hit pause, do what I got to do, get back. But I mean, edit, and I'll sit through all 4 of them, you know, and in one sitting.
That's awesome.
So, but I mean that happens, you know, probably a couple times a month, and it's also weird too, because sometimes I'll take all of the Resident Evil movies, which I know a lot of people don't like.
I love the Resident Evil movies.
What's that?
I love them. They are like
I
awesome.
do too. The only one I could probably do without is the second one, but outside of that, but I'll just put them all. I'll just put the stack on my desk.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're excellent films.
Huh?
I don't think they're excellent films. Don't get me wrong. I just think they're really fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not something that you go, oh my god, that's like the best movie ever. I just like the idea behind them.
I definitely want to jump into this, because this is obviously a project that I know that you're working on, that you're very passionate about it, and I really want you to kind of talk about, you know, how this has become something that was obviously a personal experience to something you want to bring to film, which is, you know, the film DJ. So can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, and obviously I mentioned earlier in the podcast that, you know, you are a DJ. So I mean, how this where the origin came from for this script?
Well, I mean, I'm a recovered alcoholic and drug addict, and being a DJ is actually what created my problem. Mm-hmm. Now, there are some people that became an alcoholic for one reason or another. Mine was out of acceptance, because I was bullied when I was a kid. I mean, all the way. I mean, I'm not even going to waste your time talking about that. Just know that I was just one of those guys that was just picked on all the time, all the way up until high school. And actually, it wasn't until my senior year that I kind of came out of my shell via the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High, because then I spent my entire 12th grade year as Jeff Spicoli. And I had the black. Yeah, I had the black and white checkered shoes before Spicoli did, so fuck you. So Sean Penn kissed my ass. So anyway, I kind of had come out of the shell and started. You okay there, Cooley?
Yeah, no, like, listen, no. This is going to sound funny. So you have
what?
Jay and Silent Bob, right? Jason Mewes?
Yeah.
All right, so for some reason, and I don't know what it is, but when you said Jeff Spicoli, all I could think of was Jason Mewes as Jeff Spicoli. And then you said Sean Penn, yeah. And I was like, oh shit, it was Sean Penn. How the fuck could it be Jason Mewes? Jason Mewes was probably like 12 when that movie came out.
Right,
so yeah, now it just blew my mind for a second. But anyway, go ahead.
You just had a moment, dude. Wow.
That's my life on the spectrum, buddy.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Cooley.
Anyway, so yeah, I kind of came out of my shell, and I had a friend, a buddy named Pete Goodrich, who he and I started DJing together just to do it for his girlfriend's birthday party. And from there, it just kind of took off because I've kind of found myself. I found that I was not this introvert, that I wasn't this horrible person, that I wasn't this dick, that I wasn't this guy who was who it was okay to mess with. That I was actually somebody, that I had a personality, and so that's kind of where it took off from. And then getting a job in my first nightclub was an accident. It was purely an accident because of something I had gone up and I had done this mix using, okay, now I'm really going to sound old, but Ready for the World's Oh Sheila and Digital Display. You guys
Nice.
Okay, you know the songs. Okay, good. I don't feel that. But I did this mix using, they had a cappella versions, they had just beat versions and stuff. And so they had this DJ there. His name was Mitch. He was a very he was the Ken doll DJ. Okay. He was the guy that looked good but didn't know what the fuck he was doing. So anyway, I went up there and I did this. I was talking to him. I said, "Hey man," I said, do you have these two songs?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "Let me show you something." So I got up there and I did this beat mix thing where I was going back and forth. And I did a little bit of scratching. I never got really good at it, but I did a little bit of scratching and stuff. And when I was done, he was like, "Motherfucker, wow, that was awesome." And it wasn't long after that he actually was getting a job at a bigger nightclub, and he had suggested me to take his place. And just from there, I kind of became this guy that was not just playing music. I performed. I was an MC. I got people to yell and scream. I stood up on the DJ booth. Tony, you've probably seen those pictures of me with the guitar in my hand. You know, I mean, I wasn't just playing music. And then I got asked to go to another club, a bigger club, a more higher class club. But I was also told that to bring what I do, and I brought it to that place, and that got me bigger. So I mean, you know, when it comes to being, you know, somebody did ask me one time what it was like to be a DJ back in the 80s. And that's our tagline for the movie. It was the closest thing to being a rock star that you could come to. And with that also came women and drugs and alcohol, not, you know, partying 24/7. It was to think back to the amount of alcohol that I drank, to the amount of drugs that I did. I drank and did more drugs and screwed more women in 3.5 years than I think most people do in their lifetime. And believe me, I'm not bragging. The fact that I am alive is a miracle. And so kind of what happened from that, when I, you know, got further into my sobriety, I just felt like that was a story that needed to be told, you know. That, and it's also, for me, it's kind of a closure, you know. Once, I feel like when we can get this movie made and that, then I can just literally just take all of that shit in my past and throw it behind me, because I still can't get rid of it. You know, I always want to be reminded about who I was, and because of that, I am who I am today. But I also need to really just step away from it. If you guys, I don't know, am I making sense on that?
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I mean, and to be honest with you, I mean, you sent me the script, and it's probably obviously because I also DJ, but it's like I could relate a lot to, you know, like being a part of that party scene, and like really, if you don't watch yourself, you get sucked into it like extremely fast. You know, before you even blink an eye, you're like, holy shit, like I've been up for 48 hours. Like, like what am I doing here?
Exactly.
You know, so it's insane. So I'm like, I'm reading the script and like I'm literally like reliving like I'm like living this thing with you, and I'm like, you know, this is awesome. I mean, there are a lot of, you know, movies out there that are, you know, they try to, you know, talk about what it's like to be a DJ, but I mean, like, they don't really tell it like it is, and this script was like not holding back any punches. You know, it's like this is what can happen, and this is, you know, how far it can go and how crazy it can get, and I think that's what people want to hear. You know?
Yeah, let me tell you what it's like being a comic book collector, though. Man,
oh yeah, baby!
X-Men, it's just, oh my god.
The amount of alone time spent is just beyond belief.
Seriously, man. Oh my god, are you drawing X-Men? Let me see it. No, let me draw.
Says the man with the Marvel t-shirt on, you know?
Bro, let me draw, dude. I gotta draw. So, I guess one of the other questions I have for you is, and obviously, you know, I'm as excited for this film as you are, but if you would be willing to talk about, you know, some of the music and that, you know, you want to be a part of this movie, and maybe some of the people that you're trying to get involved in it as well.
Well, I mean, as far as the music goes, you know, I mean, obviously with a DJ, the music is everything. But the music that is in this film is not just in the movie. I mean, it's stuff. It's there for a reason. Every song that I put into the script, and there's 32 different pieces of music, and every single one of them is there for a reason. It wasn't just some random thing. You know, like Free World by Jesse Johnson. I mean, that's that kind of sets up the entire film at that point. You know, it's a free world and it's mine, and that's kind of what happens in the film. It's a complete setup for the rest of the film. You know, I've also got songs by Kiss, AC/DC, Bon Jovi. You know, then lesser known groups like Erasure and Expose, and so a lot of that music is all in there for a reason, and it's all, and that's, you know, and I had somebody a couple of years ago say, well, we can go ahead and do this movie, but I want to save money because it's going to be about $2 to $3 million for the song rights for all this music, and they said, why don't we just remake it, and we can do it for we'll remake all the songs and we'll just do it for $30,000. I went,
yeah.
Find the $3 million. Are you out of your fucking mind? I mean, the music is the movie. You know, it's just like Saturday Night Fever. The music was the movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the music for something like this is as much of a character as anything else.
Exactly. So, you know, as far as the music goes, I mean, I've already put together and sent out to ASCAP to try and get the rights to these 32 different songs. But then at the same time, then we're also we're going after John Bon Jovi, which is kind of weird. I mean, I've said it to a handful of people just to. I thought it was weird. Somebody brought up John Bon Jovi to play my father in the movie, and I was like, well, isn't that weird though, to have like an 80s rock singer, you're going to be playing his music in the movie, and then you have him playing your dad? Isn't it? I just thought that was weird. You know, I thought.
I don't think that anybody's going to recognize John Bon right now.
They will.
Well, honestly, you know, I mean, I posted a picture, one of the latest pictures they had of him, and it's actually kind of scary, and not scary to see John as older, but to look at him and go, God damn, he looks so much like my dad back then.
Right.
it's almost scary. And then you put him and Jason Tobias next to each other, and how much they look alike. And now to me, I'm not going to stop until I get John Bon Jovi. I sent some stuff to his agent, his acting agent, the other day, and let's fingers crossed. Let's hope we hear back from him.
Yeah.
And then we got, Jason Tobias is a part of the movie. He's been doing a lot of stuff lately. He was on the Rush Hour television show. He's been on Days of Our Lives. Mm-hmm. He's got a bunch of films. One called Pterodactyl that's coming out next week on digital HD. You can get it on Amazon. That one I'm waiting for, because that one is going to be funnier than hell, because it's
I saw the poster and I was like, I am totally watching this.
The trailer for it?
No, I haven't watched the trailer. The poster was enough for me.
Dude, it's like Jurassic Park meets Shaun of the Dead, okay? I want to see this movie just for that reason, because the trailer is enough. I just laugh my ass off. But Jason is an awesome actor. My good friend D.H. Lewis is going to be playing my mother, and she's also an amazing actress. Then, of course, we have the ever so talented Tony.
Hey, guys. Yeah, man. I
sorry.
can't wait. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But, Tony's going to be in it too. He's going to be playing my best friend Rob in it, and it's just kind of one of those things that I'm hoping that we can raise the $10 million to do this movie, because it's kind of one of those things. It's like a part of my life that I'm not going to be able to close out until I get this movie made. I mean, if it takes me till I'm 60. Which, well, that ain't very far away now, but
no. Where can people go? I mean, if they're looking to invest in the film, or they kind of want to give you some money to get this going.
They just need to contact me directly, because I'm not going to do any kind of crowdfunding thing. I've done the crowdfunding thing, and it's more work than making a movie is.
Yeah.
So they can just contact me directly via Facebook, or they can send an email to the DJ 80s movie. 80s is the number 80 at gmail.com.
Okay. All right. The DJ, yeah, definitely. They can definitely check you out there. Also, guys, I'm gonna make sure that if we're gonna post a link to the Facebook page and everything. So if you guys want to contact Todd, to get involved with the film, you can do that really easily. With that being said, I mean, there is, I talked to you about this earlier, and Cooley and I have a segment that we like to throw into the podcast every once in a while, and it's really fun for us. It's actually called Scenes That Are Stupid. So what we'd love to do is actually have you talk about a scene that you think is stupid and why, and just riff on it. So whenever you're ready, man.
Scenes that are stupid.
It's about to get all stupid up in here!
Rocky IV.
Okay, I'm familiar with that, obviously.
The training sequence of not Rocky, but when they would cut back to Dolph Lundgren and the stuff that they were having him do, and I'm looking at all of this equipment, and I'm like going, oh my God, you're going to tell me that shit doesn't exist? I mean, yeah, movies are supposed to be the unbelievable thing, but I'm just looking going, come on, man. It almost like I wanted to find Stallone and smack the shit out of him for even thinking up those types of training equipment. It was just so obnoxious. And
I think I know what you're talking about too, because I've thought the same thing. Like I'll go to the gym and I'll work out, and I've never seen that machine that you sit in and you just turn like this.
Exactly.
What is that?
I mean, I've been to the gym too, even though I don't look like it now, but I'm still looking for that fucking machine. I'm still looking to see where that thing is, and I
think
was
it makes you grow
just
another
like,
spine.
oh,
I don't know what that is.
you know.
Yeah, and they
And then the other thing I was
electrodes.
thinking about too, and I'll probably have a whole shitload of Star Wars people freak out on me, but the ending, the remade ending of Return of the Jedi, I would like to personally grab George Lucas by the throat and push on his Adam's apple and go, why did you take David Prowse out of the end of Return of the Jedi?
Oh, yeah,
And
okay, I'm with you.
Put that shitty ass Darth Vader wannabe in there.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, that was just absolute. And also, I'm sorry, but J.J. Abrams, I saw Force Awakens. All it was episodes 4, 5, and 6 all mushed together in one movie. It was horrible. I hated it.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I feel like yes, there were a lot of parallels that you can draw. I mean, a lot. I mean, like a ton.
There were too many.
But I think what they did was they did that to kind of recreate that Star Wars feeling for a new generation. And I went into that movie knowing what it was, and totally getting. I felt the same feelings that I felt like when I watched 4, 5, and 6. And I think for me, the biggest thing about Force Awakens was that it completely erased episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I was able to fucking move forward with the Star Wars franchise finally, because that shit I was stalled out because of 1, 2, and 3. Like 1, 2, and 3 just kind of disenchanted me with the franchise. Like I was just like, I'm done. You know?
Yeah.
Like I love 4, 5.
I don't know. I just totally. And it was kind of funny because my daughter was just begging me to watch it. And if a trailer doesn't make me want to see a movie, and I you know what, and also I think I'm probably Cooley. I'm looking at it from a whole different perspective. You know, some people. I mean, I'm a filmmaker, and filmmakers more often than not will look at something completely different. I cannot ever sit and just enjoy a movie. I am going deep, picking it apart. What the fuck were you thinking? Why did you use that cliche line? Why were you doing that? Why do you have this actor that when he takes his mask off, his nose is bigger than a tree in the you know, I mean, it was just, I know, I'm sorry, but it was. He took that mask off and it was like, whoa!
So like that brings, because like you brought up a great moment,
awesome.
because this is like my scene that is stupid, is in Star Wars The Force Awakens, when Kylo Ren takes his helmet off, his hair just kind of like comes out, and it's just like this beautiful like long wavy hair, right? And it's
exactly.
like it's like untouched by anything. It just looks like he spent hours fixing it. And then when he puts his helmet back on, there's not a strand of hair outside of the helmet. It's like he uses the Force to tuck his hair into his helmet, so that when he puts it up, it's just the weirdest shit in the fucking world to me. And so like that is the only thing that took me out of the movie and made me unable to like really thoroughly enjoy it. Like if they fix that and like actually explain how he gets his hair back into his fucking helmet perfectly, I would be happy.
You know what's funny though? It's like you talk about that, and I went into this movie being like, I completely forgot that Adam Driver was playing Kylo Ren.
Yep.
So I was like, I just forgot. And then he takes his mask off, and for the rest of the movie, I'm like, oh, it's the guy from Girls. I couldn't. He was so unbelievable to me because he's talking to who's the girl in Girls? What's her name again?
What, Ray?
No, in Girls.
Oh, in Girls.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Oh shit! Why do I not know?
Well,
I watched the show religiously. I love it.
There's this one scene where he's in like a shower with her, and he's like peeing on her,
Yeah.
and he's like, and she's like freaking out, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, what's the big deal? It's just going down the drain, it's washing off, and I'm like, I can't take him serious now as Kylo Ren because I've seen that shit. So it's like, I don't know. I know he's an actor, but like I could not separate that.
Hannah. Hannah's her name.
Yeah, I know Hannah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean the actress.
Oh, fuck. Jeez, now I gotta think of that. I know her name too.
No, it's all good.
Lena Dunham.
Oh, yeah, Lena Dunham. That's
Yeah.
right.
I just couldn't. I don't know, man. It was just kind of one of those things. I sat through that movie, and I don't think I have ever watched a movie that I was so ready for it to be over. I was like, okay, is this going to end ever? You know, I mean, even with episodes 1, 2, and 3. I wasn't sitting there going, "Well, this sucks." Really, it wasn't until later on in life that when I started watching them again. When I saw them in the theater, I don't know, I was okay with it. But then when I got older, I was watching them again. I'm going, "God, these are fucking horrible." What was I thinking? But Force Awakens, I could not wait for that movie to be over with. It was
Like if
just.
If you use the Force
I
to
was
tuck
just,
your hair in
I
your
was
helmet,
done. I was like, okay, can we watch episode 4 now, please?
like if you use your hair,
Is it
if
done?
you use the Force to tuck your hair in your helmet, does that bring you closer to the dark side?
Yeah.
Do you think? Like, is that what made him evil? Like, I mean, like, and somebody told
I
him stop
think that's
using
what it was.
your Force for that, and he was just like, no, I must look good.
Well, I like the SNL skit they did where it was like he cracked on it. He's like, "Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a radar technician." And they were like, "Yeah, I knew you were Kylo Ren since you said hi. I'm Matt. I'm a radar technician." So I have one more question to ask you, and I know we're kind of coming up to the end here, but and this might be a loaded question, but I was just very interested to hear, when I had asked you earlier, are you like into the Marvel universe? And you said you were like really superheroed out, and I can understand what you're saying, but also I really want to know, like, why is that, and are you excited for the upcoming Suicide Squad? Because I know that's kind of like going to be like one of the big releases of the summer.
I got superheroed out when they decided they were going to start Spider-Man all over again, and then they were going to start Batman all over again. I mean, Christopher Nolan did a hell of a job with those 3 films. I know a lot of people didn't like the third one.
I loved it,
but I really thought it was done really well, and it was. What's so funny when
he just went hated it like he hated the third one.
I was okay with the third one just because it was it kind of cut it off, but then again, I was hoping we were going to see Nightwing. I mean, out of that, I thought with what's the actor's name, the young kid,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get something out of that, and I was really disappointed to see that we're doing Batman versus Superman, and then redoing Spider-Man, and I don't know, man. To me, it's all been about the superhero thing, and I'm an old guy. I'm 52 years old. I like movies that got some substance once in a while. There's one on Netflix called The Road Within. It's just about three young kids. One's got Tourette syndrome. One of them is she doesn't eat.
Anorexic.
Yeah, she's got anorexia, and the other one is this OCD, young kid from England, and the 3 of them get in a car together and go on a trip. There's no CG. There's no nothing. It's just a story about these 3 kids. And those, I guess for me, I'm just like begging for those kind of movies to come out. And I guess because the superhero thing is just, I was happy for Deadpool. When Deadpool came out, to me, that was the anti-superhero movie because awesome. It basically gave the thing to all of these other ones that were just, I didn't like Ant-Man. Everybody tried to be Iron Man. Everybody tried to be funny. Everybody tried, they tried it with Green Lantern, and they just kept regurgitating these things out. I'm like, if I see another fucking origin movie, I'm gonna die. You know, it's like, come on, just give us a story. You know, and see that Cooley is why I liked the third Batman film, the Christopher Nolan film, just because it wasn't any more origin movie. It was balls out. It was action. It was a good storyline, and that's, you know, I just don't care anymore. We all know how these guys came to be. Give us something like Spider-Man 2. That's what I loved about Spider-Man 2. It wasn't so much an origin movie. It was a Dr. Octo. It was balls out. It was action.
Yeah, you love that one. Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 is one of the greatest comic book films of all time. In my opinion.
Absolutely. I loved it. But why do we have to regurgitate the origin shit and keep going? That's how come I'm so sick of superhero movies.
Can I ask you a quick question?
You know, and then I'm so glad Zack Snyder got snatched out of the DC universe because he fucked up. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. So, quick question: the third Batman film, right? Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Gotham is in dire trouble, and Batman crawls out of a fucking well somewhere in fucking East Bumfuck, whatever the fuck he's in. I don't even know where that is. Tibet, fucking, South America, who knows? So he crawls out of the fucking well, and he goes back to Gotham somehow within moments. But on the way there, because and Gotham is about to be destroyed by some bomb, right? It's about to be destroyed. On the way there, he finds time to fucking shave, and that drives me insane. It drives me insane. Why?
That's like the second, what was it, the X-Files movie they did? It was the X-Files movie they did. David Duchovny's living in a fucking shack, and he's got a full beard, and then all of a sudden he's like, I gotta go check out this crime scene, and he puts on a suit and has to shave. How do you know you're fully invested in this? You can still be Mulder with facial hair.
I'm just saying, if I'm directing this and if Batman has to get back to Gotham to save it, I'm putting him in the bat suit with a fucking beard, and it would look cool as shit, because it looks like there's some fucking there's some urgency to him getting to Gotham. How long does it must have taken him at least 15-20 minutes to shave, and that shit is time that he could be using to save Gotham.
Yeah, but people don't want to see homeless Batman.
I don't think anybody would worry about that. People don't want to get blown the fuck up. That's my point.
He's like, I didn't have time to shave.
You think people would be like, Jesus, Batman, why didn't you shave before you saved us?
I'm out of money. I didn't get my dollar. I'm waiting on Dollar Shave Club. Oh my God. Well, I think we're getting close here. Todd, I just want to, thank you a lot, man, for being on the show, because I think we covered a lot of great stuff. You've done some really great stuff. You also have a really new, fresh perspective on things that, it's very different from a lot of people out there, and that's why I really like, the work you've done. And looking forward to being part of DJ with you. That's going to be an awesome journey. So, with that being said, thank you again for coming on, man. Do you have anything you want to add, Cooley?
Oh, that's it, man. We're good.
Yeah, Todd.
Thank you very much, Todd.
He's all done with me, man. He doesn't want to talk to me.
Man. Get out of here. You should shake the camera.
Oh no, man! I'm ready. You know what I mean? We got so much good stuff. I just don't want to. I don't know. Keep going. So Todd, do you have anything?
I'll come back. There's always a part 2. I'll do a sequel.
Hell yeah! Yeah, as long as Zack Snyder's not involved.
Yeah, no Zack Snyder.
Exactly. Keep him the fuck out of the DC universe. Keep him out of our universe.
And I won't even shave.
Yeah.
Okay. So why? Because I'm Batman.
Todd, do you have anything you want to add before we kind of sign off?
Yeah, just I appreciate the continued support that we get from everybody out there, and look forward to we got the DJ Misfit is going to be coming out at the end of this month, well, in the middle of July now, and then we start shooting at the end of July our short film Rain with Kiera Hall. That one's going to be good. It's about a young lady with ombrophobia, fear of the rain, that gets stuck in her house for 10 days during a hardcore hurricane.
Wow.
So that's going to be a good one. So yeah, and if anybody wants anything to do with the DJ financially, we do have all of our business packets put together. Tony actually has some of them if you want to contact him also. If you have any questions, feel free to find me on Facebook, or you can call me. Yes, I'm going to put my phone number out there at 970-778-1825. Just give me a call,
Definitely.
and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have about the DJ.
Definitely, guys. And obviously, if you want to hit us up, you can find us on, Twitter at RedBeard Podcast, or RedBeardPodcast.com as always. Thanks again, Todd, for coming on. And, guys, make sure you keep checking us out over the next couple weeks. We have some great guests, just like Todd, who are going to be involved, and some great videos to come. So we'll keep you posted and keep checking the site. Thanks, Todd. I'll be in touch. We're gonna talk soon, buddy.
Absolutely, man. You guys are doing a great job, man. Keep it up. Keep going. You're funny as hell. Love listening to you.
All right, man. Thank you. We'll talk soon, man.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Bye.
You got it.